Hello, this is Heather Hoffman. I'm here today with a fun trio of baby cards using the April 2021 Kit of the Month from Unity Stamp Company. I loved that sweet little nest image paired up with the other branches in that sentiment and thought they'd be perfect for some baby cards. And as is often the case when I'm making baby cards just for my stash, I can never decide whether to do a boy or girl, or kind of the neutral ones for those people that wait to be surprised and don't know what they're having. So a lot of times I'll just make a set of all three, and that way I have one of each version just ready in my stash whenever the need arises. So I'm going to start off there with that fun little branch image with the little nest. I almost forgot to take my foam pad out of my MISTI. Definitely want to take that out when using your red rubber. Don't need the double thickness there. And I'm just going to line up each piece of pattern paper one at a time and stamp that in place. And once I've done that on all three of my pattern papers, I'm going to turn it around and stamp that branch on the other side. This pattern paper I'm using is all from Honeybee's Autumn Afternoon 6x6 pattern paper pad. I also love taking different pattern paper. Obviously, this was a very autumn themed, but by using some of the more neutral and basic patterns, they work great even for something like this, for a spring kind of feeling baby card like this. All right, you may have noticed that little clear sheet in there. I used that to line up, since my branch still had a little ink on it. I went ahead and used that to line it up without smudging my paper there as I was working. All right, and then I'm going to move on, and because I'm doing three of these, I'm going to go ahead and stamp my sentiment just by moving some black cardstock around. I'm going to make sure and get three stamped sentiments on there just by rearranging that. And then I can heat emboss them again, all assembly line. This makes this whole process of making three cards move a lot quicker when you can kind of do all the work at the same time and not create more work for yourself. So I've got those three on there. I'm going to sprinkle on the white embossing powder, brush off any little stray bits, and shake those off so that I don't have extra bits of white where I don't want them. Clean my desk because I always end up with stray powder underneath there. And then I'm just going to move through and heat emboss all three of these. And then I'm skipping ahead. I've trimmed them down just using my paper trimmer into simple rectangles, just trimming off the extra black cardstock. I trimmed them into strips first and then trimmed that little extra off the sides. All right, now I can just move and assemble those onto each of those stamped background papers that we have. I'm going to use foam adhesive for each one and pop them up just for a little bit of dimension and to make that sentiment kind of pop out a little bit more. It's going to add some depth to the card in a really simple way. All right, those are all done. So now I am also adhering these panels onto white card bases. I made sure each of those panels were slightly smaller than my A2 card bases. All right, the final step, I often forget about something so simple as my envelopes and just use plain boring white envelopes, but how fun to stamp not only a coordinating pattern, but to draw those colors in. So I picked my ink colors to coordinate with each of those panels of pattern paper I used on the front of my cards. So these are all Simon Says Stamp inks. The first one that I used there was Dusty Sage, and then I'm moving on there to Apricot, and then the final one that I'm going to do is Melon, which is a nice soft peach color that matched with that one perfectly. And again, using my MISTI to line up all of those. Actually, I think I had those colors backwards. Anyway, you get the idea. I showed them each as I stamped them. But lining them all up in my MISTI allows me just to go right through all of those envelopes and stamp them all in place quickly, and then have that fun coordinating effect with the envelope and our cards. There you go. Simple and easy, three fun baby cards to have in your stash for whatever need might arise. Thanks so much for coming by today. I hope you enjoyed and this inspired you to maybe create a set of cards of your own, whether it's baby cards or thinking of you or birthday cards. Hope you have a wonderful day. Bye for now.